Oh, we're live. We're live again. We're live because it's better live. This is Beck Lover. It's Friday night. We're in the Trump world now. There's so many things going on. He's on a rampage. Live, baby. We're live. So make sure you smash that subscribe button. If you like someone that gathers all the stories for you, someone who puts all the crazy stuff together, well, you're in the right place. Let's make sure this other shot. There we go. All right. I'm going to have to do a little post-editing, but if you're watching it live, welcome. It's Friday night. We got a ton of news. We got a lot of things to talk about. I see you in the chat. If you're watching us, you can watch us on YouTube, Spotify, X, or you can listen to the audio version of this show anywhere podcasts are received. If you feel like supporting our work, if you're watching on YouTube, you could smash that super chat. Every dollar helps. We appreciate it, and we thank you. So before I get into all the Trump hysteria, the illegal aliens that I don't see them anywhere on the streets right now, they're hiding. They're running for cover. And the corners they usually hang out on, over here we have a large like Peruvian, Salvadorian, Ecuadorian population. And there's these corners they hang out on in the morning waiting for people to roll up in their trucks and take them to work. And again, I will say this again. The overwhelming majority of these people are hard-working people that just want a better life. I feel for them. I really, really do. But unfortunately, the way they came in, the way this last administration just opened up the doors and the floodgates, and when I show you some of the videos that are circulating today, like someone that found a debit card receipt that was given to them by the government with $13,000 on it, where many of you are busting your butts and you get nothing from your government, we got a problem. We got a problem. So it is what it is. We're going to get into some of this. But before that, for those of you that take antibiotic, okay, there's news that's come out that antibiotic prescribed to millions can cause rare and dangerous reactions. The antibiotic, widely referred to by popular brand names, Bactrim, is prescribed to an estimated 3 million people in the U.S. each year. For the most part, it's helpful and an important drug, but in rare cases, some patients have had serious and even fatal reactions to it. Now, one of my 3 children took one of these augmented antibiotics and broke out in excruciating pain and screaming and hives everywhere. And I had to go with an ambulance to the hospital and then again and again because it doesn't just go away. And I was literally giving my poor kid, this is a couple years ago, I was giving him like nonstop, what's it called, man? My brain is fried, guys. I just don't feel as sharp as I used to, man. I don't know what's going on. What is it you give people when they're having an allergic reaction? Benadryl, man. They were just drinking Benadryl for literally 10 days straight, just nonstop all day because the hives just kept coming back. Like, it was horrific. It was terrifying to watch and very painful as a parent. So if you've never taken this type of antibiotic, you might want to be careful. If you're allergic to penicillin, you know, the reaction is horrific, and I've seen it. So I just wanted to give you, you know, a heads up. So just pay attention to that. The World Health Organization, they had to freeze their hiring because now they're not getting $500 million from the U.S. anymore. This guy, I couldn't stand this guy during the pandemic. I couldn't stand him. As you know, the U.S. has announced it intends to withdraw from the WHO. We regret this decision and hope the new administration will reconsider it. Dr. General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus told the staff in an email sent Thursday night, this announcement has made our final situation more acute, and we know it has created significant concern and uncertainty for the WHO workforce. Yeah, so why should we always have to pay for it? 8 billion people, but 300 million are responsible for the rest. China, that has 3 times our population, was paying 40 million, according to Donald Trump. Yeah, enough of these one-sided deals. Enough of it, man. And I'm not down with the WHO anyway. And I ain't talking the rock band. I'm talking this World Health Organization that made our lives a living hell with their agendas and their 2030 and all this nonsense that's gone down. So the pendulum has swung the other way, except for certain agendas. The U.S. orders halt to virtually all foreign aid except funding to Israel and Egypt. So everything else is stopped, but Israel still gets a blank check and Egypt gets a blank check. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has ordered a halt to virtually all U.S. foreign aid, but made an exception for funding to Israel and Egypt. No new funds shall be obligated for new awards or extensions of existing awards until each proposed new award or extension has been reviewed and approved as consistent with President Trump's agenda. So for those of you that had what was happening over there in Gaza and all that as a voting point, I told you, you have no candidate. Both sides will always be 100% supporting Israel, whatever they want to do, and paying for it. So if you needed proof, here you go. There it is. They stopped everything but paying them. So. And then if we look at the comments on X, people are upset about it. So this person, for example, Fidelity, she wrote on her X account, foreign aid for Israel and Egypt should 100% be stopped like everyone else. They aren't special. CJ Kelly wrote, all foreign aid should be cut, including to Israel and Egypt. With $33 trillion of debt, no foreign country should be getting anything. And I agree. If you can't pay your bills, why are you giving money away? I don't give a shit who they are. If we can't pay our own bills and our government shutting down every quarter, government shutdown, they can't even keep themselves funded, and we're going to keep funding people's wars and battles. And you got Americans that have been demolished in LA, demolished in North Carolina, demolished in Maui. You have places like Flint, Michigan, they have no clean drinking water. They can't even shower in that water. Our infrastructure is garbage. You're putting tolls on people in New York to cover all these games they've been playing with us, and people are still defending what's been going on. Like, how do you not hate what's been going on? You know why you don't hate it? Because most of you that are supporting these types of agendas, you haven't been working for a living. You got your Section 8, you got your free benefits card, you got your free health care, and the rest of us that work and they take our money, you don't feel our pain. And we're tired of it. We're sick of it. And if they don't get it right, we should all just stop paying taxes. Period. Until they fix it, boycott. Shut the system down. No one should get a pass anymore. I don't care if it's Israel, Egypt, Albania. I'm Albanian. I love my country. No one should get anything from America until we fix our house. Until we have our house in order, until our country's in order, and until we can explain why we support certain agendas over other agendas. And maybe the American people should be voting. We live in a digital age, right? Maybe we should have like American Idol. Where do you guys want to send the next trillion? Maybe we should get the vote on that. Since you clowns send away our money, our sweat, and most of it is gone to take out innocent people. Period. We're tired. We're tired of this nonsense. Mario Nafal, a guy that I used to co-host on Clubhouse with. Now he's a big shot on X, the number one guy on X. People should go study his history on Clubhouse. Historic U.S. freezes most foreign aid for the first time ever, blah, blah, blah. All right, so everyone feels the same. Still not happy with the funding. If Israel and Egypt are still getting foreign aid, then that means it hasn't been stopped. Donald Trump freezing foreign aid to all countries except Israel. That's how you look at countries' finances. Is there a valid reason why we are still funding Israel and Egypt? Why exactly are we funding? You know what? Why were we funding the Taliban up until now? A country that supposedly perpetrated 9/11, and we sent soldiers to fight there because none of it makes sense. It's all lies. It's all garbage. It's all nonsense. As Americans, you should be pissed, whether you're Democrat or Republican, gay or straight, because there's no more 55 letters anymore. They got rid of that now. It's either you're a man or a woman, or a man who thinks he's a woman. So thank God we got that cleared up. That's one good thing that came out of the last 48 hours. The overwhelming majority of us don't have to question our sanity anymore. We don't have to worry about some guy who calls himself a girl going into the bathroom with our daughters. That's some good news. Guess it's not perfect yet, but we're getting there. I apologize for missing yesterday. I know it was big news. I'm human like you are too. I have rough days. I love you. I appreciate you. I swear to God, when I miss a podcast, I feel like I'm letting down my family. And in many ways, I am. But I battle things too, guys and girls. I have rough days, man. There's things that are going on in my life. I have deals fall through in business and whatnot, and it just takes a toll on me. And sometimes I just don't have it in me because I give you my heart, man. When I'm on here, I give you my heart. I give you a piece of my mind. I don't claim to be the most perfect human being or to know it all. I give you my 2 cents. For those of you that used to watch my other show, it's called 2 Cents, right? So I apologize when I miss a show. Life is not easy. For the most part, I try to be as consistent as I can. Yesterday was a lot of big news, man. So we'll talk about it today. So Trump orders the release of JFK, MLK assassination documents. When will they see the light of day? The order demands the nation's security organizations to create plans to release confidential records regarding the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and MLK. More than 50 years after the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the federal government has not released to the public all of its records related to those events. Their families and the American people deserve transparency. All three men were national and international icons whose assassinations drew the interest of the media and conspiracy theorists for years to follow. According to the order, information regarding JFK's assassination was originally intended to be released on October 26, 2017, per the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act of 1992. Both Trump and Joe Biden gave the government agencies responsible for the release several deadline extensions in 2017, 2018, 2021, 2022, and 2023. I have now determined that the continued redaction and withholding of the information from records pertaining to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy is not consistent with public interest, and the release of these records is long overdue. The question is, will we really get the truth in these documents? How do we know what they're giving us is the truth? Who do you think ordered the assassination? I definitely don't believe it's what they told us. That's a fact. Who gained from him being taken out? What changed in our monetary policy? Was it Lyndon B. Johnson? I've heard these utterings on other right-winged news and podcasts that this is who did it and this is why he did it. Some people have said it was the country we were just talking about a couple of minutes ago. I don't know the correlation between that. There's a lot of different theories. Also, they should add to the list Malcolm X. We should know what happened with Epstein and who was on those planes and who went to his island and what the truth is about that, because I think that's far more important and relevant. Who was behind that man? Who was blackmailing politicians? Who was blackmailing very powerful people? That's what the American people should really be demanding right now. You know? That's what I want to know. And Diddy and whatnot. Kennedy clan at war over release of long secret JFK files. Here's who's on which side. The Kennedy clan is warring again, this time over the release of the Fed's classified files on President John F. Kennedy's assassination. JFK's grandson, Jack Schlossberg, that's his grandson? When did they become Jewish? JFK's grandson, Jack Schlossberg, accused the commander-in-chief of using his grandfather as a political prop in an ex post made right after President Trump announced Thursday he was releasing the secret documents. JFK conspiracy theories, the truth is a lot sadder than the myth, a tragedy that didn't need to happen, wrote the 32-year-old Schlossberg, who has been known for oddball tweets in the past. JFK's grandson, Jack Schlossberg, is at odds with his cousin Robert F. Kennedy Jr. again. Not part of an inevitable grand scheme, he said declassification is using JFK as a political prop when he's not here to punch back. There's nothing heroic about it. But Schlossberg's cousin and JFK's nephew, Trump ally Robert F. Kennedy Jr., balked at the assertion and hailed the president's move. I'm very grateful to President Trump, RFK Jr. told reporters, referring to the file's upcoming release while on Capitol Hill on Thursday, prepping for his confirmation hearings as Trump's controversial nominee for Secretary of Health and Human Services. This is reported by the New York Post. We've all seen the video now where they try to make it look like the driver turned around. It kind of looks like that. I mean, I think our own government took him out. People within the government committed treason. I believe he was the last president elected by this country. I truly do. And I believe he tried to warn this nation about the shadow government and the deep state. 100% go listen to that speech. And that's all you need to know about why he's not here anymore. RFK Jr. has previously been at odds with Schlossberg and other... Well, you know what? His name ain't Kennedy, bro. So who gives a fuck what Schlossberg says? His last name ain't Kennedy. He might be a half Kennedy. You're a Kennedy. And you're happy that it's coming out. We're happy that it's coming out. President Trump wasted no time signing a slew of executive orders on day one. tons. I mean, just look how much he signed. Schlossberg's mother, Caroline Kennedy, JFK's daughter and RFK Jr.'s cousin, has called the health secretary's nominee's treatment skepticism dangerous. Former Rhode Island Representative Patrick Kennedy, whose dad was Ted Kennedy, the brother of JFK and RFK, joined RFK Jr. several years ago in pushing for the release of the files. And his name is Kennedy too. So who do you think did it, man? Who do you think took out JFK Jr.? And do you think that these documents will make it clear to the American people? I wonder. The question is, let me pull this up, man. When are they going to release it? JFK files release date. Is there any news on this? Any new news? I don't see any new news here. Okay. When are they going to release it? I don't know. But we're waiting for it. Trump went out to L.A. and met with Governor Newsom. The Gulf of Mexico is now called the Gulf of America, if you missed that one. Donald Trump arrived in L.A. and was greeted by Governor Gavin Newsom. Trump was accompanied by the First Lady. We're going to do a lot of work, and I think you're going to see a lot of progress. Newsom asked for Trump's support in the recovery effort and emphasized it's not just the folks in the Palisades, but the folks in Altadena that were devastated. Trump signs executive orders targeting abortions. The first would reinstate Mexico City policy, which prevents international non-governmental organizations that perform or promote abortions from receiving federal funding. This policy, which abortion rights supporters call the global gag rule, dates back to the 1980s and typically implemented whenever Republicans take control of the White House. The second was an order affirming a longstanding federal policy that the U.S. does not use federal funds to pay for abortions. So, a lot of changes in the last couple of days. You had some Border Patrol agents taken out. They had a suspect with an arsenal of weapons. This is reported by all the major media outlets. Here's NBC News. The two suspects were identified as Teresa Youngblood of Washington State, who was wounded in the gun battle, and Felix Bachholt, a German national who was killed. The two suspects involving the shootout that killed the U.S. Border Patrol agent in northern Vermont had an arsenal of weapons, tactical gear, including 48 rounds of .38 caliber jacketed hollow point ammunition, a ballistic helmet, and night vision equipment. Sounds like these people were spies or up to no good. The suspects were identified. I gave you their names. Border Patrol agent David Chris Milan, 44, also died in the exchange of gunfire on highway just 20 miles south of the Canadian border. May he rest in peace, and may his family have the strength to proceed forward. Okay? It is not easy being in law enforcement. You just never know. Prayers go out to the family. He prevented God knows what type of chaos could have been coming our way. Trump won't ban immigration arrests at school. Some families are now weighing school attendance. I'm telling you right now, if you're here illegally, people are shook because they'll just roll up at your house, grab you, and you're bye-bye. You got tenants in your building that they won't leave and they're migrants, just call ICE, man, and they'll pay you. That's what's going on right now. It's just beginning. It's just a warm-up. Here's some of the footage. Here they go. Deported migrants arriving back in Mexico. Look at them. They're all military age, all men. What's going on with the internet? I don't know. Okay, my internet sucks today, guys and girls. I don't know what's going on. I got 1 gig up, 1 gig down. My kids are probably playing Xbox because I'm in my mobile studio. The bottom line is they're rounding them up left and right. Left and right. Now, what's interesting is this video I found on Instagram of someone that found a receipt of these debit cards that they've been giving out to these illegal aliens. So look what they can do for people that don't even work, haven't paid into the system, and many of you voted for these people that are in low income, and you go through hell to get benefits. Watch this video. Here we go. Let's see if we can get the sound on here.
Venezuela left her receipt at the grocery store and the cashier took a picture. Her food stamp balance, right here. Her cash balance, right here.
This individual left the receipt. She had just bought some food at the bodega, okay? Her food stamp balance on her EBT card, her taxpayer-funded EBT card, her food stamp balance is $13,401.
Wow.
And 82 cents for 1 month. That's
crazy. $13,000 in their accounts. And how many of you have that in your savings right now? How many of you have to go pay for your bills, your groceries, taxes, tolls? Huh? Life's good, no? Trump's ICE raid turns up pedos, gangbangers, and New York-based suspected terrorists as 538 migrants were arrested for heinous crimes. And you're sad about this? Round them all up, bro. Round them all up. Criminals, gangbangers, people committing physical and sexual out, bro. Send them back. Send them back. Obama was cheered while dining alone at a D.C. restaurant as wild, unfounded Jennifer Aniston romance rumors swirl. So people are trying to say he's banging Jennifer Aniston. What do you think? I'll be there for you, Obama will. Must be nice to be Obama, bro. Huh? Billions of dollars. Huh? Nothing changed for this country, bro. You know, that was the first time I voted. I fell for that nonsense. You actually have a vote. You know, I voted for him, believe it or not. Do you believe I voted for him? I voted for him. Who else you get? It was Coke or Pepsi, man. It's the illusion, right? Coke or Pepsi. I voted Coke that time. Pepsi the next time. Certain policies, doesn't matter who you vote for, like I mentioned earlier. Vice President Vance tells March for Life it's a blessing to fight for the unborn during the first week in office. We march to live out the sacred truth that every single child is a miracle and a gift from God, Vance told the crowd at National Mall in his first public appearance. But you guys, it's bitter cold today. Here you are outside in especially frigid January. And I don't think I've ever seen such a joyful crowd out here, particularly during this time of the year. Now, me, myself, I'm pro-life. I'm pro-life with the exception of, abuse. And you don't have 6 months to have it. It's got to be done before the first 40 days, before the soul enters the womb. I do not support, because you can't keep your legs closed, jumping from one to the next when you have ways to not have that happen. And you shouldn't be sleeping around. And if you end up having life in your womb, then you should bear that responsibility. Otherwise, close your legs and you stop pumping into the women, because the man's fault too. It's not just the women's fault. Just want to make that clear. Got to be fair. And that's why you shouldn't be fucking around with people you're not willing to have kids with. It's the way God made it, in my opinion. Ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity by the authority and me as president. So basically, he's reversing some long-time laws that had to do with civil rights, and people are going freaking crazy. Roughly 60 years after the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, critical and influential institutions of American society, including the federal government, major corporations, financial institutions, the medical industry, large commercial airlines, law enforcement agencies, and institutions of higher education, have adopted and actively use dangerous, demeaning, and immoral race and sex-based preferences under the guise of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion, also known as DEI. Illegal DEI and DEIA policies not only violate the text and spirit of our longstanding federal civil rights laws, they also undermine our national unity as they deny, discredit, and undermine the traditional American values of hard work, excellence, and individual achievement in favor of unlawful, corrosive, and pernicious identity-based spoil systems. Hardworking Americans who deserve a shot at the American dream should not be stigmatized, demeaned, or shut out of opportunities because of their race or sex. I agree, man. It's reverse racism and sexism in many ways. But I also feel kind of the other way too, man. It's like African Americans went through a lot. I don't know what the right answer is for this. I'm going to be real. I don't know how I feel about this. Do I believe in affirmative action, that you should be able to just get a job because you're a certain color. No, because then that's reverse racism, right? I don't care if you're Indian, black, white. I feel like the person that is the most deserving of the position should be able to get it. But at the same time, I want to make sure people that are less fortunate have a fair chance to compete if they are of an equal status. Maybe they didn't go to the same school as Harvard, but if they're a straight A student, they should have a shot at that job. I mean, I don't know, man. This is I don't know how I feel about this one. I don't know. What are your thoughts? This one I leave to you, the people that follow and watch. What are your thoughts? Give me your arguments. Drop a comment. This piece of shit, his name is Fauci. President Trump announces Dr. Anthony Fauci's federal security detail has been canceled. You can't have them forever, President Trump announced. Fauci lost his escort. He won't be eating outside too much, I don't think. I would love to run into Fauci. I wouldn't do nothing to him, but I would tell him, you are garbage. You are human waste, bro. That's what I would tell him to his face. Under communications freeze, CDC updates some important health data, but not others, right? They've been frozen now. There's so much happening right now. Also, I forgot to add to this news, and I do want to add it. He banned CB, central banking digital currencies, right? Big news. I forgot to add that to the story. I think that's important. So Donald Trump fulfills promises to the crypto community, but bans central banking digital currencies. I'm all for that. However, I don't think we're still out of the woods, because just because they're not going to have central banks controlling digital currency doesn't mean that they can't be manipulated and controlled later on down the road, or that they can't still steer people or announce a coin or whatever that they're going to use to ultimately, in my opinion, enslave humanity on the blockchain, on the universal ledger. So I'm not a big fan of crypto. I'm not saying you can't make money. And I love people dropping comments going, you don't understand it, and you don't get this, and you don't. I understand it 5 steps from now, son. 5 steps from now, not now. Right now, you're in the money phase. You're caught up. You don't realize how dangerous this thing is. And remember, policies can change, administrations can change, and they're dumping in a heavy amount of infrastructure into what I believe is the new world. But this is temporary good news in the crypto world. The fact that he's not allowing central banking digital currencies makes me happy. What are your thoughts about that? The Supreme Court is to weigh the constitutionality of nation's first religious charter school. The Supreme Court agreed Friday to decide whether states may reject religious charter schools from receiving public funding. I believe they take money from us in my property, for example, in a town I don't even live in, and they use it for education. And then where I live in, my schools are trash. And you know what? We should have a right, and it's religious freedom. So maybe I want to give my money to a Muslim school. I want my kids to go to a Muslim school. I should have that right. I don't want to send them to the school in my town. I can get that money pre-tax and send it to my Muslim school. I don't see what the problem is with that. I hope the Supreme Court rules in favor of this. And when everyone takes their kids out of public school, then they'll get their shit together. That's when they'll get their shit together and stop pushing these agendas and wokeism and all this fucking nonsense on our children and put God back into the classroom, in my opinion. Israel will not withdraw troops from Lebanon by deadline. Saw that one coming. World's largest iceberg drifts threateningly towards remote island of penguins and seals. A gigantic wall of ice moves slowly from Antarctica on potential collision course with a wildlife breeding ground. The world's largest iceberg, a behemoth more than twice the size of London, is drifting towards a remote island. The gigantic wall of ice is moving slowly from Antarctica on a potential collision course with South Georgia, a crucial wildlife breeding ground. Satellite imagery suggests that, unlike previous megabergs, this rogue was not crumbling into smaller chunks as it plodded through the Southern Ocean. Well, why don't you send a couple hypersonic missiles, test out your weapons, and break it up? I mean, how hard is that? I'm sure you and Russia would love to use some of them. Maybe even Kim Jong-un. Driver rams an anti-government rally in Serbia's capital, injures one protester. Serbia's having a very volatile time right now. People are sick and tired of the Vučić government, basically Milosevic 2.0. He's also a globalist from what I can tell and plays by the rules. In my opinion, an enemy to the people of that country, pushing these agendas and wokeism and all the nonsense that we're fighting here in America. Thousands of people have flocked to smell a plant that smells like shit. Literally. Huge crowds queued in Sydney to catch a whiff of the flower that smells like hot rubbish. This is reported by Al Jazeera. Look at this freaking thing. It's so crazy looking. It looks like an alien plant. She may smell like rotting flesh, but Patricia, the internet famous corpse flower, has been the center of attention at the Botanic Gardens of Sydney over the last 2 days. The rare plant, scientific name Amorphophilus titanium, but also known as Titan arum or Bunga Bangakai, in Indonesia, where it grows wild, began to bloom on Thursday, giving off an odor described as having the aromatic profile of a dead rat. It literally smells like shit. And this is a weird looking plant. And people are lining up to smell it because that's what people do. Elon Musk posted this with a yes caption on his X account. We are experiencing a population apocalypse. Let's see what this video is about.
We are experiencing a population apocalypse. According to a recent Morgan Stanley study, approximately half of European women between the ages of 25 to 44 will be childless and single by 2030.
By half the women.
Tragically, this is not usually how they planned their lives. The modern lifestyle leaves men and women childless by removing the incentives for marriage, which is the basis.
They couldn't find someone that could speak English better? Seriously. This is a little scary. Adults with ADHD live shorter lives than those without diagnosis. This is something that I think I'm also battling, to be honest with you, and I do want to go and see, and if I get a full diagnosis. I've looked up a lot of the symptoms. I feel like I exhibit some of those tendencies. So it might not be bad for me to go and really see if that's the issue that I have. But it's saying that basically people with ADHD that don't get it diagnosed and handle it, they usually live between 5 and 10 years less than those that do get it diagnosed. But they attribute it to the fact that people with these problems smoke and can't handle, and they have more impulsive, actions, and they don't sleep on regular sleep schedules because they're all over the place. And many times I've been very hyper in my life. Do you struggle with ADHD? If so, drop a comment. I'd love to read about it and how you handle your condition. But just remind people that that have it, that it can be harmful to their health. So with that said, there's not too much more going on today. It's been a crazy, crazy couple of days. I appreciate all of your support. I thank you for watching this live episode. I apologize for that glitch in the beginning, as my producer is out today. In any event, if you want someone that does all the homework for you, gives you a blast of the past, I will be responding to Sam Schumann, who has attacked Lily J in regards to her post. He's proof that he's not a good person. The type of stuff in comments, calling a woman a whore who's having religious discussions and debates online, who responded to Sam Schumann without being inappropriate or disrespectful. But since he wanted to open that can of worms with his nonsense, and I haven't forgotten about the special I promised you all. I was waiting for someone else, but they're taking too long, who wanted to co-produce it with me. So now I'm just going to produce it myself, and I'll probably release that sometime this weekend, no later than Monday. I will be creating some religious content for those of you that enjoy my lectures about religion, where I will be debating many of the doctrines of Christianity and Islam and give you my perspective on what I think and where my stances are. Again, it's not done to disrespect anyone. It is religious debate. It's one of my passions. It's a fascinating subject. We have different beliefs, and we can compare them, and we can do it respectfully. We don't have to attack each other and be dogs. With that said, I hope you have an amazing weekend. This is your boy, Beck Lover. We continue to grow thanks to you. We are independently operated. We're not like Tim Pool, who sold out and went to Daily, whatever the hell they're called, Wire. This is Beck Lover, independent operator. I give you a very diverse, very broad opinion on many different things. Remember, no matter how bad things get, you never give up. Life is crazy, but you don't have to be. Take care of yourselves, take care of your family, spend some time with the people you love. Life is short. We're all gonna die one day anyway, so none of this shit matters. Be respectful, try to be a positive force in the world, and take care of the people that you love, because they're not here forever. Till the next time, it's your boy, Beck Lover, signing off. I'll see you next time.